to the Vatican, the Holy See. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the Pope is a symbol of unity among the Catholic, but of course, is also a global icon on matters of peace. He has expressed and expounded on global peace. Recently, I'm sure he talked about the right to life, right to peace, and I'm sure when he's talked about that, he was referring to the war that's happening in Iran. And unfortunately, I'm sure you have heard that he was rebuked and actually attacked on social media for him to speak like that. So it's unfortunate also that certain world powers can rebuke the person of the like of the Pope. And we want to say that we support peace, and as we send this, our nominee, as approved from this House, is going to join the other ambassadors from across the world to enhance peace and security. I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as the ambassador to Vatican, the Holy See, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 28th April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 132(2)(e) of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act, Cap 185(e), and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of Dr. Julius Murori Mbijiwe, PhD, as the ambassador to the Vatican, the Holy See. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, special motion. Consideration of nominees for appointment as to the National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
Chairperson, Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. Malenge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that this House considers the nominee.
Honorable Madenge, you start this way. I beg to move the following motion, then read the motion as it is. Then you start your discourse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the guidance. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity in its report on the approval hearing of the nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 29th April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 252(b) of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F. This House approves the appointment of the following persons as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Dr. Kefa Nyamwea Omai, chairperson. Mrs. Josephine Kerion Eregai, member. Mr. Joseph K. Guyo, member. Mr. Jackson Swadi Kedogo, member. Dr. Samuel Mwashiro Mawasi, member. Ms. Irene Shepoisho Turel, HSC, member. Mr. Hassan Bilu Ahmed, member. Ms. Jerusha Mwathime Michael, member. Honorable Speaker, the Committee of the National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities conducted approval hearings for the nominees for appointment to the positions of chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. The nominations were forwarded to by the head of the public service through a transmittal letter dated 14th April 2026, and was subsequently communicated to the House by yourself, Honorable Speaker, on Thursday, 16th April 2026. The recruitment process, Honorable Speaker, leading to these nominations was conducted by a duly constituted selection panel pursuant to Gazette Notice number 1002 of 27th January 2026. The process attracted a total of 79 applicants for the position of chairperson and 640 applicants for the position of members of the commission. Following the initial review, the selection panel shortlisted 13 candidates for the position of chairperson and 106 candidates for the position of member, all of whom proceeded to the next stage. Interviews were conducted between 2nd and 14th of April 2026, with the panel setting a pass mark of 70%. Upon conclusion of the interview, 3 nominees for the position of chairperson and 25 nominees for the position of member were forwarded to His Excellency the President for consideration for appointment. In accordance with Article 252 of the Constitution and the provisions of Section 17(1) of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission Act, Section 6 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, and Standing Order number 216, 5G of the National Assembly Standing Orders, the Right Honorable Speaker referred the nominations together with the accompanying curriculum vitae to the Committee of National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity for approval hearings and reporting to the House. Madam Speaker, the Speaker further directed that the committee undertakes the approval hearings and tables its report by the close of business on Wednesday, 29, 2026, to which the committee complied. Honorable Speaker, subsequently, the Clerk of the National Assembly notified the nominees and the general public of the dates and venues of the approval hearings and invited the submission of memoranda on suitability of the nominees. In line with Article 118 of the Constitution, Section 6(3) and 4 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, and Standing Order 45(3), the clerk placed advertisements in the print media on Friday, 17th April 2026, informing the public that the approval hearings would be conducted on Saturday, 25th April, and Monday, 27th April 2026, at the Mini Chamber, County Hall, Parliament Buildings. Additionally, pursuant to Section 6(9) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, the clerk invited members of the public to submit written memoranda on the suitability of each nominee by 5 p.m. on the specified date. However, no memoranda were received from the public. Further, the Clerk of the National Assembly, through letters dated 17th April 2026, sought reference checks and background information on the nominees from the key institutions, including the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, the Higher Education Loans Board, the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties in order to ascertain suitability and integrity of the nominees. Madam Speaker, the nominees appeared before the committee on Saturday, 25th, and Monday, 27th April 2026, as scheduled. The committee examined the nominees based on the criteria set out in Section 7 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act. In particular, their academic credentials, relevant professional training and experience, knowledge of issues relating to national cohesion and integration, and their personal integrity in accordance with Section 6, 7, and 8 of the Act. In the course of the hearings, Madam Speaker, the committee also considered the nominees' understanding of the mandate of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. their ability to address emerging challenges such as hate speech, ethnic polarization and inequality, as well as the capacity to contribute to strengthening national unity and peaceful coexistence. Madam Speaker, the issue of the use of social media, the digital space, and AI was also one of the areas that the nominees were questioned about. Pursuant to Section 17(1) of the National Cohesion and Integration Act and the provisions of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, the committee observed that the nominees demonstrated knowledge of topical, administrative, and technical issues touching on the portfolios to which they had been nominated. The committee further noted that the nominees possessed the requisite abilities, academic qualifications, professional experience, and skills necessary for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Madam Speaker, having conducted the approval hearings in accordance with Article 250, Section 2 of the Constitution, Section 17(1) of the National Cohesion and Integration Act, Section 8(1) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, and the relevant standing orders, the committee recommends that this House approves the appointment of the following nominees. Dr. Kefa Nyamweya Omae, for appointment as the chairperson of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. A distinguished religious leader, experienced organizational development scholar, seasoned public servant and public speaker, with experience in leadership, governance, national cohesion, and peace-building initiatives. Honorable Speaker, Dr. Kefa has served as the presiding bishop of the Redeemed Gospel Church in Kenya, chairperson of the Kenya Coalition of Church Alliances and Ministries, and he has held public service roles, including membership in the Madoka Commission on the Kenya Prisons Service Reforms. He has served as a board member of the Lake Basin Development Authority. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Human Resource Management, a master's degree in leadership development, and a PhD in organizational leadership. He has played a key role in the Interfaith Council in this country. Mrs. Josephine Kirion Eregai. Madam Speaker, this nominee started serving as a ward administrator in Isiolo, rose to the position of the county executive member for education in Isiolo. She has interacted with the members of the public in a setting where conflict and even issues of gender-based violence have had a lot of occurrence. She has 13 years experience in policy development, stakeholder engagement, community-based programming, and she possesses strong expertise in promoting peaceful coexistence. She has been a champion of strengthening marginalized women in rural settings. Madam Speaker, Mrs. Eregai has been useful in advancing inclusive development, and she has the academic qualifications in education and leadership and is undertaking doctoral studies. Madam Speaker, Mr. Joseph K. Guyo, the nominee for appointment as a member of the commission. Mr. Guyo is a seasoned educationist, holding positions as a teacher in Taita Taveta, in Nyeri, in Nakuru, rising to the position of principal and improving performance in a day school in Nyeri in Tetu constituency, and also one of the leading boys' schools in Madira constituency. He later transited into mainstream public service, where he has established himself as an astute administrator, rising to the position of a senior principal, and later he is currently serving as a senior deputy secretary. In addition to these responsibilities, Mr. Guyo has acted in 2 ministries as principal secretary. Madam Speaker, Mr. Jackson Swadi Kedogo, nominee for appointment as member. Mr. Kedogo, Madam Speaker, started off as an elected councillor in Mathare, later moved on to become elected as an MCA in Nandi. He has served as a member of the Board of Directors, Lake Basin Development Authority. In the County Assembly of Nandi, Mr. Kidogo chaired the PIC of the County Assembly, and he was elected as a member of the County Assembly of Nandi for 2 terms. Mr. Kidogo has demonstrated versatility across different communities. And the fact that he was an elected MCA at the height of the post-election violence in 2007 in Mathare in Nairobi speaks about his resilience and his knowledge in inter-community relationships. Dr. Samuel Mwashilo Mwawasi, nominee for appointment as a member of the commission. He has 23 years experience as a lecturer in various universities, from Egerton to Taita Taveta. He has a PhD in economics. He has a lot of knowledge and consultancy works in administration, academic leadership, and research. He has served as a dean of students for postgraduate as a dean of students and a postgraduate research coordinator. Ms. Irene Shepoisho Turel, Madam Speaker, this young lady has the best in-depth knowledge in matters cohesion, peace building, and is actually a security expert. She has 18 years exceptional experience at national and regional institutions, including advisory roles in peace building architecture, counterterrorism. She has worked with the IBC as a development programs manager, and she has received several recognitions, including national honors and international fellowships for her role in peace building. Mr. Hassan Bilo Ahmed, appointment for member of the cohesion. He is a governance and development expert with wide experience, including working in war-torn Somalia. He has experience in market systems development, peace building, and stakeholder engagement in fragile contexts. Lastly, Mrs. Telesia Jelusa Mwadame Michael, an accomplished legal practitioner. She rose to the position of advisor to none other than our president on constitutional matters. An advocate of the High Court of Kenya, an expert in governance with extensive experience in constitutional law. She has knowledge in mediation, arbitration, compliance, and policy advisory. She has also served as a director of the National Rotary Board. Madam Speaker, the suitability of these nominees, all of them without exception, impressed the committee, and therefore, Madam Speaker, I wish to urge that the committee, this House, goes ahead and approves their appointment. However, Madam Speaker, allow me to add that we are at a time when the National Cohesion and Integration Commission will play a key role, especially in the run-up to the coming elections. And it is important that this commission is adequately resourced to play that role. The second element, Madam Speaker, this commission also needs to be given independence from the Ministry of Interior so that they can adequately function, because some of the areas where cohesion and integration is required, we see the Ministry of Interior active through the police force. Madam Speaker, with that, I wish to request Honorable Agnes Pareyo to second.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity in its report on the approval hearing of the nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 29 April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 252B of the Constitution and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. 1, Dr. Kefa Nyamwea Omae, chairperson. Ms. Josephine Kirion Erage, member. Mr. Joseph K. Nguyo, member. Mr. Jackson Swadi Kedogo, member. Dr. Samuel Mwachiro Mawasi, member. Ms. Irene Chepoisho Tulel, member. Mr. Hassan Bilo Hamed, member. And 8, Ms. Jerusha Mwathime Michael, member. Yes, Honorable Russell.
Thank you very
Those
much.
who want to contribute, please press the intervention button.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support these nominations. And I want to thank the committee for this report. Reading through the report, what points out directly to why this is a very important commission is the questions that the committee was able to put to the nominees. Madam Speaker, NCIC is like a referee in this country, or a lifeguard, if you may, if you are at a swimming pool. And they are the ones who watch over what this country does in terms of many things: political hygiene, in terms of our interaction, such as what we witnessed a few weeks ago when a young gentleman who is a legislator will stand before the head of his state to tell him, "I'm not afraid of you." So this particular commission, indeed, as the mover and the vice chair of this committee pointed out, this commission does not have those constitutional powers enjoyed by those other commissions. It is the time that this House must move with the speed, if indeed this commission is useful, to have it in the Constitution with many powers, including prosecutorial powers, to take individuals before the court of law. Madam Speaker, other things like marginalization, social exclusion, ethnic mobilization are many things that this commission must look at if Kenya should remain a unitary state that accommodates all of us across the different shades, the different regions, and also the different political formations and ideological persuasions. Honorable Speaker, reading through the resumes of all these nominees, I think there's one thing that is in common, that almost all of them have had a situation where they are either interlocutors in conflict or they have witnessed a situation of conflict. The chairman nominee is a member of the church, or for that matter, is a bishop. He's succeeding Bishop Kobia, who was the immediate former chairman. So we would expect that without fear that is from the church, to enforce, to come out forcefully, to point out issues that do not stand for our constitution, or they don't stand within the laws of the land. Madam Speaker, there are other nominees who are in the report. They have been members of the county assemblies, people who have worked at the grassroots with the common man and woman to make the communities or the society and Kenya a better place. They have better fundamental understanding of what makes Kenya ticks and also what makes Kenya ache. Madam Speaker, in terms of even education, what I must really confess is all of them, in terms of the educational qualification that is prescribed by the Act, they all meet those criteria. There are questions which have been put to these individuals on the issue of hate speech, on the issue of conflict of interest, and also if they can come out and defend a situation where they feel a particular issue does not stand well or is in keeping with what the national cohesion really stands for as an institution. And I believe most of them have ably answered those questions. Madam Speaker, in another 1 year's time, we are heading to an election, a general election for that matter. And it is during election time where most of the questions that have been put to these nominees are likely to arise. This commission has its job cut out, and they must stand on their 2 feet to protect this country. This country is bigger than all of us, bigger than politicians, bigger than anybody. And they should be unafraid to carry out their duties. Indeed, they work under the Ministry of Interior in one way or another because of enforcement powers. But that does not make them mute to when they find that even the Ministry of Interior is not doing its rightful, constitutional, and responsibilities. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to support, and ask the House to support, and also in terms of funding. The chairman has said that if we must give teeth to this particular institution, then they must be well-funded to act within their powers so that they can make this country a better place for all of us and also for the future generation. With those remarks, I beg to support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Mwangi Kiunjuri, member for Laikipia East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I start support. And first, I've looked at this report. Well done. The committee seems to have taken their time to look at individually each and every nominee. And as you go through this report, there is no question about their suitability, that they are very experienced in whichever field that they are coming from. They have been able to meet all the requirements of the law, constitutional and statutory requirements. And Madam Speaker, if you look at the way this report has been written, it's clear that they were able to look at every member individually and looking at their experience, their background, where they are coming from. They are people who are already qualified. They have been able to interact with other Kenyans in one way or the other. They have worked across this country, and therefore they'll be working in a way of complementing each other. Looking at them, their credentials, professionalism, their training, they are coming from different backgrounds. And therefore, when they sit together as a team, they will be able to look at the national issues clearly, because also I've looked at their representation. They are coming from different regions, their ethnic diversity, and at the same time themselves, having come from those different regions, have worked in other regions across the country. I've seen almost all of them have been able to work differently. Even the one who have worked in lesser areas of the country is about 6 regions. And this tells you that they have been able to interact with communities across the country. Madam Speaker, what will be important for us now is that this committee is coming up when elections are very near. That in the next 14 months, they will have to really be looked at closely. Their credibility will be at stake because the atmosphere in the country is really boiling to very high temperatures. And therefore, what I would like to ask them is that they take their work seriously. They must ensure that they are fair in their judgment. Whatever they will be doing should be guided by the rule of law. They should serve this country as Kenyans, not from where they are coming from, where they can be influenced, who can influence. This should not be a case in this committee. Also, their independence from the ministry should be very important, because once you give them work to do, and then you want to monitor them, you want to supervise them, then they are not going to be impartial. And what we are asking is that one way of letting people work is giving them independence, and the independence will come on how facilitated they will be. And therefore, as Parliament, we have a responsibility also to ensure that this commission will be well resourced to be able to do their work independently. That support must come from us. That support must come from their mother ministry, so that they can be able to work without coercion. Lastly, Madam Speaker, on the rule, 2/3 rule, it's well represented, and I believe that once they come to pick their deputy, they should also adhere to the gender rule and ensure that at least we have a person of different gender to come and deputize this able chairman that we are about to come up with today. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Uku Kaunya, I think you're a member of the committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this motion. Madam Speaker, being a member of the committee, I want to agree with our chairman that the nominees who are presented were able to qualify in terms of the requirements of the law in general. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight especially the diversity of these groups. The members of this committee are from various diverse ethnic communities. At the same time, in terms of the age and experience, they present a very good, diverse mix that can be able to steer this commission to achieve the goals intended. Madam Speaker, I want to highlight two of the candidates, the nominees. One, Jackson Swadi Kedogo. Madam Speaker, impressed us a great deal because this is a case of a nominee whose background, especially the social background set up in a family, he had a lot of difficulties in education, but he was able to work through and eventually managed to get a degree at the later years. Madam Speaker, but the interesting bit about this particular nominee, he has vast experience in public management, spanning over 30 years, but at the same time, he is a mix of what a real Kenyan should be. He hails from Vihiga County, where he was a leader by election. He was in Nairobi, he became a councillor, he was elected in Nairobi. And later, he went and served in Nandi as an MCA for 2 terms. A very interesting mix. This is a real Kenyan for 2 terms. So this particular candidate has a vast experience, especially where he hails from, is near the border of Nandi and Vihiga. And this is an area which has a lot of, is prone to a lot of conflict, especially with cattle rustling. He demonstrated to us, the nominee demonstrated that he played a key role in some of those conflicts. And so the vast experience he brings in is going to help this country and the Commission in addressing some of the intricate ethnic-based and community-based conflicts. Madam Speaker, one of the other candidates that, or nominees for that matter, is Teresia Jerusha Madhime Michael. This is a young nominee of about 32 years of age, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, with the vast experience even with that age. The areas and the places she has served, including currently serving as a technical advisor in the Executive Office of the President and serving in the board of the National Lottery. Madam Speaker, this particular nominee impressed the members. The vast experience, especially on the knowledge of constitutional law and areas legal. This particular nominee will be very useful in guiding this commission, especially on areas related to law, particularly aware, Madam Speaker, that the National Cohesion and Integration Act is in this House and undergoing the amendment so that we can make it better for the Commission to perform. Madam Speaker, I want to also indicate that the Commission the greatest clients to the Commission are members of Parliament and political leaders. And indeed, the Commission, with the amendment of the law, will have more teeth. But I wish to emphasize the work of the Commission should be a lot more preventive. And therefore, we urge the nominees who have been presented for approval in this House to go in with vigor, especially now that we are facing the election in the coming 1 year. Madam Speaker, I want to emphasize one point, that we as clients also have a role to ensure that the national integration and cohesion is maintained. The Commission in itself cannot manage unless we as leaders also will behave responsibly. Madam Speaker, I'm saying that because, as you are aware, it is in this House and it is before your office that I have a statement, for example, concerning a member of this House, a honorable member, who on the 12th of February alleged, while the Minister for Interior was here, alleged that a division belonging to a constituency, Teso North, which is my constituency, be transferred, including myself, Madam Speaker, as a member of Parliament. This member is a neighbor, Honorable Waluke. So when members raise issues which are conflictual in the public and which have no legal basis, that becomes hate speech, or that is inciting the communities against each other who have been peaceful for a very long time. So, Madam Speaker, as clients, I urge the leaders, let us measure our words even as we go to this political duel that is coming. And Madam Speaker, lastly, the issue of goonism has been a major topic lately. And the goonism, we are the main creators of this goonism. But I urge that as leaders, and of course, I urge as leaders that we take politics responsibly and avoid the use of goons and gangs. I also urge the CS Interior to be upbeat and do his job. Because what happens sometimes, Madam Speaker, goonism and gangsterism comes in when there is a lapse in terms of the function of institutions, formal institutions. When the security sector fails to give cover to these leaders and to ensure the meetings are held in a peaceful and safe manner, then the leaders resort to having the young people. And I urge that the CS Interior steps up the management of security in this country so that as we go to the election, we have a peaceful election. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the members of this committee who worked tirelessly, and I want to thank this House for supporting the proposed nominees so that they are approved, they are up to the task. I thank you and I support Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also support the report and the nominations of the members of the National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity Committee. Honorable Speaker, first of all, let me take this opportunity to actually thank the President for the very diverse list of nominees that we were actually received. Because, Honorable Speaker, as you can see, all the 8 nominees come from the different regions of this country, and that shows real and true diversity of our country, and therefore we thank the President for that consideration. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, is to thank the Committee on National Cohesion for the good work that they did in terms of vetting these particular nominees. We watched live as the nominees really expressed themselves and showed us the different skills and knowledge that they do have. And thirdly, Honorable Speaker, is to congratulate the 8 nominees led by the chair who comes from Gusii region, Dr. Kefa Nyamweya Omae, who is a very, very competent individual, alongside all the other nominees that have been listed. Honorable Speaker, mine is just to urge the new nominees as they take over office with the exit of the previous commissioners, that they need to take into consideration and take their work very seriously. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are just about to get into an electioneering period, and some of the roles and responsibilities that they do have is in terms of issues relating to discrimination, conflict resolution, public awareness, and hate speech management. Honorable Speaker, as we all know, when we are approaching election and when it's an electioneering period, people tend to become very sensitive. People tend to have a lot of tension amongst them, and therefore we urge the Commission and we want them to ensure that they actually take responsibility to create not only awareness, but also to be very vigilant in their work. Honorable Speaker, this is a commission that is also mandated with looking and ensuring that there's actually equal opportunity within our country in terms of not only employment, but also in terms of cohesion. And just to take the example that they have been brought into office from different regions of this country, they should also ensure that part of their responsibility is to maintain and ensure that everything, all the opportunities that are available in this country of ours are actually divided equally among Kenyans from different regions. Because, Honorable Speaker, we do not want to be a country that only focuses on having one particular region benefiting from the different resources and opportunities in this country, but we want to be a country and we want to be leaders that actually encourage and ensure that opportunities are spread across different Kenyans. And, Honorable Speaker, when you look at some of the qualifications for these particular individuals, it did not matter where they came from. They all did go to school. They all got very competent qualifications. They've all worked in different areas of this country where they've had fantastic experience. And so I want to believe that given their diversity and given their experience, given their suitability, that they will take this role very seriously and show us a very good example. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to just take this opportunity to, in summary, congratulate the new nominees, assure them of their support once this House does approve them and they get into office, and to also urge them to ensure that they take their work and do it with the utmost of diligence that really does go in line with the qualification that they have and the suitability that they have. With those few remarks, I support and I submit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion. And first, let me say, Honorable Speaker, that this commission is okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm saying this commission, Honorable Speaker, is one of the very critical commissions in our country, especially at a time like this in the run-up to the general elections. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because when we run the risk of losing this country every time we have general elections because of crises manufactured by political leaders, is because there will usually be a precursor to that, stemming from the things that are said by political leaders in public forums, on our vernacular stations, whether it is radio stations or TV vernacular stations, things that we say that are outrightly geared towards incitement, and especially incitement based on our ethnic divisions. Honorable Speaker, the other truth is that the people of Kenya are a united people, and they have no business dividing themselves along our ethnic lines. But it is political leaders who divide them along political lines, Honorable Speaker. And this Commission for National Cohesion and Integration of our country is, or rather was envisaged to be the commission that would independently deal with matters that become a threat to our national cohesion. But the commission that was there, I'm sorry to say, was part of the problem. Because this is a commission that tolerated all manner of nonsense. From political leaders, from those in the media who will say anything that would say as careless statements that they air using the platforms they have, Honorable Speaker, geared towards inciting people along ethnic lines. Honorable Speaker, you have seen, even now, political leaders in the country say all manner of things that are not in any way promoting our integration as a nation or even promoting cohesion amongst our people. And this National Commission, Commission on National Cohesion and Integration Commission, is a commission then that we charge with the responsibility of ensuring that all of us collectively and individually take responsibility for whatever we say, especially that which we say in public. And I don't say all of us just as political leaders, but even those who have a voice. And I say that when I listen to some of the things that are being said in many of our vernacular stations. Very insightful things. Inciting one community against other communities. And it is only this commission that can save this country, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, as we approve this good people, Honorable Speaker, and I went through the CVs of all these people, and they are very good CVs. Good backgrounds, starting from the chair, Dr. Kefa, who I know, and is a distinguished leader who has distinguished himself in leadership in the church and outside of the church. And I want to tell Dr. Kefa Nyamweya that distinguished leadership that he has shown in the church and elsewhere, his organizational skills in leadership, and that proven track record that he has shown, and I saw him during the vetting process, he belabored the point that he has a track record of interfaith peace building and mediation. How I pray that we will see that in action from Dr. Kefa as the chairman of the National Cohesion Commission. I know the commission that was there had issues. For instance, there was one young lady who was a commissioner there, but was actively involved in politics. Actively. And I know she thought that because her term was coming towards an end, and because she wants to run for political office, which I can assure her she will go nowhere, and she will lead nobody. Because she showed a lot of irresponsibility in the office that she held. And if you cannot hold a high office as that of a constitutional commission commissioner with the integrity that that office deserves, then the people of Kenya, and I'm sure the people of Murang'a County, are watching you, and they know. You hold no integrity to hold any other office, including that of an elected member. Because first you respect the office that you hold before you seek another office. Today, I cannot say I want to hold another office, then I disregard the office that I'm holding today as a member of parliament and leader of majority. And I'm saying this because these commissioners who are being appointed into this commission must know that they must uphold the office of the commission with the respect and the dignity that beholds of that office of a constitutional commission. they must not involve themselves in partisan politics. And what that commissioner from Ranga was doing is wrong. And I'm told she would openly say, oh, I'm waiting for them to chase me away, so that I evoke public sympathy and get elected. Oh, unto you. We know you, and we know your conmanship, or conwomanship, if there's such a thing as conwomanship. But again, it also stems from the association of the people this commission was associating with. People who are clueless on leadership, people who thrive on spreading hatred, people who thrive on ethnic divisions. And you know, I wondered if you are following someone who has no head himself, someone whose only avenue to leadership is spreading hatred, ethnic division, insulting other people. You insult from the president, the deputy president, let me not even mention myself. I have seen you move from, you know, it's amazing, Honorable Speaker. I saw that character come into my constituency and saying, oh, Ishongo had said I cannot come here, I should not come here. I am here. Like a child, like, then you move from there, you go to Honorable Amaua's constituency. You say Honorable Amaua should go and make tea for President Ruto in Sugoi. So wrong. Oh, Amaua had said I should not come here. I am here. The following day, you go to Kitui, Mwingi West. With a straight face, you lie that the member for Mwingi West, Honorable CNN, sent me a text telling me, oh, don't come here with Kalonzo. Outright lies. And I wondered, when you lie in one center, don't you remember what you lied yesterday so that you don't tell the same lie in Mwingi or in Marago? Be decent, my friend. Have some sense of decency. At least when you lie, don't lie with such a straight face. At times, look down kidogo, a little bit, Honorable Speaker. Sorry for mixing languages. But you know, I'm saying that because I saw now a commissioner of NCIC borrow the same culture of lies, selling ethnic hatred, imagining that that will gain you an opportunity to lead people. You will lead nobody. And you can never lead anywhere if all you thrive on is hatred. We desire to be a cohesive and integrated society as the people of Kenya. That is why in 2010, when we enacted our constitution, we formed a national commission on national cohesion and integration, because it was the desire of the people of Kenya that they wanted to live together harmoniously as people of one nation, our motherland, Kenya. Nobody desired to be pointed fingers to as that a person who coming from this or that region. Today, Honorable Speaker, such a short memory. Some of us now want to take us back those many years. And I saw somebody saying that what became of our nation in 2007 led us to the birth of a new constitution in 2010 and the birth of such commissions as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Because we wanted to put a stop to that culture where communities would rise one against the other and have such a cohesive and integrated nation that any person, any Kenyan could live anywhere within the boundaries of Kenya and feel safe, own property, work, and live with other Kenyans as one people. I am certain, Honorable Speaker, and I have no doubt in my mind that the people of Kenya, the great people of Kenya, read through each one of us as leaders, and they know those who do not mean well for us. They know that those who are selling hatred, those who are selling ethnic division, those whose only agenda is to hurl insults from one village to another, one rally to another, people who have no agenda, people who have no vision, who have no policy proposition on how to move our country forward, and all they can sell is hatred, the people of Kenya can read through them and they know they will go nowhere. And that is why I repeat, they will go nowhere, they will lead nothing, they will lead no one, and lead nothing and nowhere. Honorable Speaker, the blend of this commission is a very good blend. We have young people in the commission, we have slightly middle-aged people, and we have older commissioners who are coming in as members of this commission. And the regional balance also is very good, Honorable Speaker. You can see we have people from Nyanza, we have people from Northeastern, we have people from the coastal parts of Kenya, we have people from the central part of Kenya, people from Eastern Kenya. Therefore, it's a good blend. And this good blend of commissioners tells us that we have an opportunity, or they have an opportunity, to build a commission that will also help the nation to remain cohesive and build proper national cohesion. And they can only do that if they take their work seriously, hold no bars, and spare nobody. Nobody. Because there's nobody who is above the law, including Kimani Ichung'wah. If I say anything that is bound to be a danger to our national cohesion and integration of our nation, action must be taken against me and any other person, Honorable Speaker, because we have only this one country, and if we lose it, we have no other. Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I want to support all these commissioners, Honorable Speaker. I have a lot of confidence, Honorable Speaker, in many of them. At least I know about 3 of them in person, people who have served elsewhere in public service and done exceptionally well. Those like Dr. Kefa, who has served very well within the religious or the faith sector and done very well in leadership in the faith sector. And I want to pray that as a chairperson of this commission, because you'll be the face of this commission, he will be the spokesperson of this commission, he will steer this commission to be a commission, Honorable Speaker, when we were co-chairing the NADCO committee with my good friend Kalonzo Musyoka. And I say Kalonzo Musyoka, not Kalonzo, the one who wrote a letter here. His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, the former Vice President. There are many people who came to the NADCO committee and proposed that this be one of the constitutional commissions, that we should either merge with the Gender and Equality Commission and the Kenya Human Rights Commission. They should be merged into one commission. And these feelings emanated from what Kenyans were able to see as the output of this commission. And many people felt that it was not living up to what it ought or what it was envisaged under the 2010 Constitution to live up to. Therefore, it's a challenge to the new commissioners that they must live up to the expectations of our constitutional dispensation of 2010, that they will have teeth to bite. And as much as they don't have prosecutorial powers, they have powers to summon people and recommend prosecution to the DPP and those who defy them, like that ethnic bigot and criminal who was defying them. They must be able to relay that to the district DCI and the IG of police to arrest and take them before the commission to answer to the accusations that may have been leveled against them. Honorable Speaker, also for many of us as political leaders, let us be cautious of what we say in public. Let us know when you incite people, you will not be there when those people are fighting. But you also not be safe. So let us be cautious when we are selling hatred. And if you have nothing else to sell other than hatred, please, you can look for something else to do other than look for political leadership. But there are so many ideas that you can sell to the people of Kenya. At least get an agenda or some idea on what you can sell. Whatever it is, other than hatred. Because when I look at these people, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, because I saw some group some group of some confused people calling themselves an alternative government. And I wondered, how can you be an alternative government when you have no idea on anything other than insults and selling ethnic hate and divisions? That the best you can do is move from one place to the other, saying, oh, CNN is like this. You move from CNN in Kitui, you go to Mombasa, oh, Governor Abdul Swamad is like this, is like that. Why do you focus on other men if you are a man? What is your problem? Why can't you get an agenda to sell to the people of Kenya? The people of Kenya will never vote for you on account or on the basis of how much hatred you sell or how many names you Christian people and insult them. The people of Kenya want to see leaders who can articulate issues that touch on the lives of the people of Kenya, not hatred. Therefore, let me tell those confused people who are calling them alternative nothing. You are nobody's alternative. You cannot be an alternative to anything. Not government, anything. Because even when they are calling themselves a disunited opposition, they were so disunited that now they have disintegrated. Now I hear one faction is calling itself alternative nothing. Another one is, I have seen another one now is moving around by herself. I hear the Jubilee team also is also working to move on their own. Anyway, in their disunity, let us be cohesive. Even those who think and support them, let us encourage cohesion. Like the member for Tetu, Honorable Wandeto. Honorable Wandeto is a very good man. He's a member of my church, the Presbyterian Church, at Motero in Karen. And we fellowship together. The same way we fellowship together as Presbyterians. I want to see the Honorable Wandeto and myself sharing platforms, talking about how to move Kenya forward, not how to sell hatred. And thank you, Honorable Wandeto, because Honorable Wandeto has never been seen anywhere selling hatred or selling ethnic hate. And when he sits in the chamber, he sits to articulate issues that touch on the people of Kenya. The former DO, when he was here as a member of parliament for Madeira, never ever articulated anything. Zero, nothing. He never articulated anything. That's why even today he cannot articulate anything anywhere. When he served as a deputy president, he knew nothing of how government works. I remember sitting with him, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, when we formed government and we were going through the budget process and how difficult things were. We had a country that was about to default on debt. And he sat there and held his chin and said, oh my, I never knew this is what we are getting into government. I thought we would come and enjoy. Probably that is why he thought enjoying is stealing from government. But thank God and thank the people of Kenya that that character is out of government today. Honorable Speaker, I support this commission. And I support Honorable Wandeto in moving Kenya forward.
Honorable Wandeto. Then I'll come to you, Honorable Julius Meli.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I tried to catch your eye on a point of order, but maybe I wasn't able to, because I felt the majority leader had really moved away from the motion on the table, which was supporting or rejecting the appointment of the commissioners, and had gone to a completely different topic, which he was addressing, because I don't know, Mr. Speaker, what cohesion had to do with 3/4 of the speech that the majority leader gave. But, Madam Speaker, let me just rise to also support this report, and also to mention that I'm happy that Dr. Kefa Omae is the chair of this committee. He's a person also very well known to me. I've listened to very many of his sermons, and he's a very seasoned leader in both the religious and political circles. But Madam Speaker, the NCIC is a very important commission. It is a creation of the Constitution, and there can be no other time that it can be more important than now, when we are only 15 months away from the general election and the political temperatures are starting to heat up. But I would like to remind NCIC that for a long time, it has focused on a very narrow mandate. It has only focused on the mandate of hate speech, which is very important, I agree. But there is a much wider mandate that we see being abused. I mean, a much wider mandate that we can focus on. And there are things that we see being abused in this country every day. One of the mandates is to ensure, is to ensure fair access to opportunities. And this is something that we have not seen NCIC talking a lot about. The other one is focusing on marginalized communities in this country. And that is another area that we have not seen NCIC focus quite a lot about. In this country, for example, access to public opportunities has been a very debatable issue, where some communities in this country feel they are unfairly underrepresented, and I have not seen NIC raise a voice on this. And so I would like to ask the incoming chair that other than focusing every day on hate speech, which is important, and I'll talk about it, that NCIC now focuses on these the wider mandates, and to ensure that it can be able to also make every Kenyan feel like we are one nation and that everybody has a stake and is well represented in this country. But dealing with hate speech, Madam Speaker, the other thing, NIC has been accused of being impartial on its enforcement. In this country, depending on which side of the political divide you come from, there are things you say and you can get away with. There are things you say and you'll have a fleet of Subarus arriving at your house either late in the night or very early in the morning. And this is the impartiality that has time and again been seen in NCIC. I have even heard none other than even the head of state sometimes using what I would consider very unpalatable language. I have not seen NCIC call him to order. But every time, someone else who is considered maybe from the other part of the political divide says something, they are always out there, to condemn. So impartiality has been one thing. The other thing has been enforceability. NCIC, has just become nothing more than a toothless dog. And Madam Speaker, we all ask ourselves, when will I see NCIC move from issuing warnings to actually deterring impunity? Because the impunity that we see in this country, time and again, they need to do a little bit more. And since we are coming to an election year, we must remember the lessons from 2007. We must remember the lessons from countries such as Rwanda, where an otherwise very simple thing started as just vernacular radio jokes, people disparaging one community, disparaging another, and ended up being a catastrophe. So NCIC must start early. But what I'm emphasizing, because I can see the majority leader applauding me, I'm emphasizing impartiality. Even the majority leader has time and again been on this floor, sometimes also saying things that actually could be considered hate speech. There's a person he keeps describing, he has never named who it is. I think he says he has a black hat, he's a black man, I don't know, he is this, he is that. And I think those are also items of hate speech. So maybe as Kefa Omaya comes, he should consider writing a letter so that hate speech also may be being propagated in this very house, and that this house cannot be seen to be propagating hate speech in any way.
Majority Leader, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I don't know why Honorable Wandeto is inviting me to interrupt him. But is Honorable Wandeto in order to assert, because he's actually asserting, that I have used this floor to enhance hate speech, because I have never done that. And Honorable Speaker, it is also casting aspersions on you as a speaker. Because if I said anything that constitutes hate speech, any member is at liberty to interject and invite you to rule me out of order. Therefore, I would want Honorable Wandeto to substantiate at what point I have said anything that constitutes hate speech, and if he cannot, he should apologize and withdraw that statement, because I may describe you as a person with a black hat, evil, but who is that person? Who have I described? It is true, there are people with a very black heart, dark soul, murderous culture. Those are facts, and they are there and they live with us. Some might even be political leaders propagating hate speech and propagating ethnic hatred and division. So long as I have not mentioned anyone by name, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Wandeto cannot assert what he was asserting, and he actually asserted it like it's a statement of fact. So again, in line with our standing orders on statement of fact, unless he can substantiate and quote from the Hansard, because everything we say here is on Hansard, Honorable Wandeto should withdraw that statement or reference to me as propagating hate speech. I do not. I am one leader who is very cautious of what I say, especially things that can cause what Honorable Wandeto is saying, things that happened to this country in 2007. And I agree with him, that's why I was applauding him by foot thumping, because what he was saying, it is true. It is the small things we say on vernacular stations. It is the small things political leaders will say in vernacular, imagining others are not listening, but they're inciting people against others. And he knows those who say that, and he knows I have never said anything to incite one community against others. Honorable Speaker, I would beg your direction that if Honorable Wandeto will not withdraw that reference to me as having propagated hate speech, he must be forced to substantiate by providing the Hansard of where that hate speech is.
Honorable Wandeto, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And also thank you for ruling that there is nothing untoward that I've said.
I have not ruled on anything.
Because you did not give me any directions, Madam Speaker.
That was a point of order. I'm now listening to you. You continue with your submission.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is that in this very house, if I can just now maybe put it generally, we must be careful also about the words that we use. We are all Kenyans, black, white, blue. Nobody knows the color of our hearts because you may need to conduct a surgery to really determine the color of one's heart. So I think that is the point at which I was coming. And I would like to encourage the majority leader not to use some words, black men, because first of all, we are, when he says a dark man, with a dark heart or a black heart, Madam Speaker, we are Africans, and the black and dark color are very dear to us. So whenever you describe us in any other terms, we start wondering, how you are addressing us. Because, and as Africans, we've been accused, many people out there in the world don't like our color, and our color sometimes has been associated with evil and things like that. So I would encourage the majority leader that in future, should he wish to describe whoever he would like to describe, maybe he can use terms that are African, because it is very un-African to really use our color and, and things like that. But Madam Speaker, if I may now just conclude. We have seen the political temperatures rising, like we have seen in the country. And I can say that none of sides of the political divide is innocent in this exchange. We are seeing a lot of harder and harder words being used against each other. And what we want to call upon the NCIC is that start early and have some teeth to bite. Don't just summon people, don't just write letters. Let us see NCIC taking real action. Let us see NCIC becoming an actual tool that we know can deter hate speech, that can deter ethnic tensions, that can deter some of these things that have happened to other countries. The reason we created this institution in our constitution is because we had learnings from others and would not want to be able to see ourselves moving, in this direction. So I rise to support the appointment of the commissioners. Again, I agree with the majority leader that, in this country, again, some of the commissions seems to be overlapping. And maybe this may not be a debate for today, but every commission that has been appointed in this country must start showing their value. They take a lot of taxpayers' money. We keep some of these commissioners very, very well as a country. So they must demonstrate, their value to this country, the billions, the hundreds of millions or billions that we are giving these commissions every year. We must start seeing return on investment as a country or value for money, in terms of actual delivery of the mandates that they have been given. Otherwise, I rise to support, Madam Speaker, and wish Dr. Kefa Omae and his team all the best, especially as we move into the election year. Thank you.
The Honorable Julius Meli.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the National Cohesion and Integration Committee for a work well done. Madam Speaker, our Constitution is in Article 250. Actually came up with this, they came up with the National Integration Commission with an intention actually of holding the Republic as one. Honorable Speaker, we know that Kenya is a diverse country. It is one nation with diverse communities of various religious backgrounds, of various ethnicities. But all of them, we have one aspiration, one common accord, and we are moving together as a unified nation. Honorable Speaker, the committee did a very commendable job, more importantly, on the procedures of approvals of nominees as per the various sections of our Constitution. Madam Speaker, the members who have been appointed here, and I want to really stress more importantly on the issue of why we need, as a republic, to be one, and why this commission is very important. Madam Speaker, this country, every other time, like any house or like any other family, is bound to have conflicts. More essentially, as we move towards elections, like right now, there are a number of people who come out with a lot of utterances, with a lot of talk that can split this country. And that is why the drafters of our Constitution saw it right that we actually come up with this commission. And the choice of members of this commission is very important, that we have people of high integrity, people from all corners of this republic, and individuals of repute in terms of standing in society. Madam Speaker, when you look at the republic, it has undergone a lot of upheavals. 2002, 2008, 2007 and 2008, and even in every other time after elections, we have a cycle of violence, which is as a result of utterances, which is as a result of incitement, which at times individuals who are involved are supposed to be brought to book and they're supposed to be answerable for their actions. What the National Integration Commission does is actually to hold our society one. A number of leaders, more importantly politicians, at times put this country at risk. And I remember the former Vice President, the late Professor Joyce Saitoti, came up and said the republic is more important than an individual. And that is why when members of the political class or members of a particular group make insightful statements, we need to take action against them, irrespective of their political standing in society. We need to make sure that the republic or the nation state is united. And there are a number of symbols of national unity, Madam Speaker. One of it is the presidency. One of it is this house, where members of this house are elected from all parts of the republic by Kenyans to represent them. And any utterances that brings down or actually do not support or give respect to the institutions of government that holds this country together, that is what the National Cohesion and Integration Commission needs to do. And it has been seen, Bishop Kobia, the retired, actually took a number of steps every other time when there was an issue that has arisen to threaten the peace and stability of this country. The members who are here, Honorable Speaker, if you look at Kefa Nyamoya Omai, is a renowned church minister. He's a renowned person who has a lot of qualities in terms of leadership. And the position that he has been given is a position of responsibility. It is a time that such a person is given this position, and it is also important that as we move on, members of both the political divide and more importantly, people who are actually out to incite Kenyans against one another as we move towards elections are supposed to be brought to book. If you look at, for example, Mr. Jackson Swadi Kedogo. Jackson Swadi Kedogo was a member of the county assembly or the member of the defunct Nairobi City Council. He was also an MCA in Nandi County where I come from. I know him personally. I know him as a leader who is a grassroots mobilizer. He is a person who comes from the border between Nandi and Vihiga. And that is the region which is prone to clashes, it is prone to conflicts. And he himself has participated in bringing cohesion amongst the two communities that reside in that border. Noting that he is originally from Vihiga, but because he was a likable man, he was able to be elected as a member of the county assembly for Kabwareng and served in the Nandi County Assembly for 2 terms because of his reputation, because of leadership skills, and more importantly, because he was a man of the people. He will bring his skills to this commission and make sure that this country and even areas that are prone to conflict are actually going, his skills and understandings will be of much importance to this country. Madam Speaker, the National Integration Commission is very important because it is not only political conflicts that we face. We have also the issues that arise out of land clashes, border disputes, and so many others. As much as it requires the intervention of the provincial administration and internal security, some of these things emanate from clanism, emanate from differences, especially those issues that I've seen in Kilgoris, areas that are people that fight over over grazing rights, and even water in some other areas. It cannot only be solved through the intervention of the police and the military, but at times it needs the wisdom of the commission to bring societies together. Madam Speaker, if you look at what this country needs as we move forward, there are so many issues that the commission has on its in-tray. And that is why this House needs to make sure that we pass this particular, we approve what the committee has done, be able to have them in office on time, and so that they can be able to run and solve the issues that affect this country, not now, but also into the future. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I also want to wade into areas where politicians, like the former Deputy President, did. Every other time, he is very disrespectful to the head of state, he is very disrespectful to offices, and more importantly, even to the office that he held at one time as a Deputy President. It is not the office of one individual, it is the office of the Republic of Kenya. The fact that he besmirches or he disrespects our current Deputy President every other time, even in intonation and talk, is a demonstration that that is a candidate to appear before the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, so that he is actually grilled to know that whatever he says and whatever he does actually can affect and cause conflict in this country. So, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for the work well done and for choosing the shade or the people from across the country. All of them from the former 8 provinces. Every other region of this country has been represented in this commission. And in fact, if they will bring the cultural differences, the knowledge, the know-how, so that we integrate as one country, one Kenya, and move forward. I thank you, and I support this bill, this motion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Charles Ngusia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Mine is just to support, because I have just perused through these committee reports, and I can declare officially what they have done actually meet constitutional and statutory requirements based on the appointments of the state officers, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to start by congratulating the good work of the committee, which was led by my friend here, Duncan Mathenke. You've done a fantastic job when it comes to these issues of vetting this important committee. And I have looked and would like to start by thanking His Excellency the President. Actually, I have looked, the committee remits to that gender role. It has also met the issues of representation of regional and ethnic diversity, and also the leadership integrity. I'll go straight by singling out one of the commissioner, the member, Jerusa Mwathime. This is a lady who has got immense experience despite being young. I remember I've met her, I know her, and I know the value she is going to contribute to this commission based on integrity, based on issues of professional training and academic credentials, because she's a distinguished lawyer and currently working the president as an advisor. Madam Speaker, I would like to remind this committee, one of the key issues actually they have never executed, it is issues of equality of opportunities and resource distribution. We would like to see them very actively advising the government, especially the president, when it comes to issues of resource distribution, which is a clear mandate as stipulated by the Constitution. I will go by saying that most of these members and even the chairman, they meet academic credentials very well, and his professional experience has really impressed me, and that is why I'm supporting this, Madam Speaker. Their backgrounds, we've really gone through the report, and none actually has ever entered a conflicting issue or appeared in any court of law. And I am sure we have elected people with competency and suitability to serve this commission, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll be singling out the issue just arose recently in Mwingi, this week. We have been having border disputes, and it is high time for this committee actually to make sure they advise the Commission on Land to work together to ensure that boundaries disputes in this country are managed by promoting the national cohesion and agreeing very well, Madam Speaker. The issue of Kamba community being attacked by other pastoralists in the Tana River, this commission should play a big role in solving out these disputes, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, without laboring so much, the committee has followed constitutional and statutory guidelines in examining the suitability of this commission, and therefore I fully support and congratulate President again for appointing these people based on their ethnic and regional diversity. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, the Honorable Locha Kapong, member for Sigor.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the committee's report on the approval of the chair and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Now, Honorable Speaker, from the report, the committee has observed that the chair and members have met the necessary requirements for the appointment into the position of commissioners of this commission. Now, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the names presented and the report as given, these members represent the diversity of Kenya, and which is actually very good. However, I want to say that just want to mention one, that from the report presented by the chair here, that one Irene Tulel from the North Rift showed or had best in-depth knowledge of peace, conflict resolution and management, and has a lot of experience in that area. So I think that is something that she will be able to bring to that committee. But when you look generally at the composition of the chair and members, each of them has something unique that is bringing to the commission. So this is a very good blend. Again, Honorable Chair, from the statistics given, 79 Kenyans showed interest to be chairs of this commission, 640 wanted to be members, and out of those now, 8 Kenyans were picked to head this commission. And therefore, there's a lot of expectation. They should know that Kenyans will expect a lot from them in performing their mandate. There have been issues that have been raised in relation to this committee, to this commission, especially those who are leaving, that they have always been complaining that they don't have power to handle their mandate effectively. And from the committee, that there is an amendment in this House that is proposing to give them more power or more teeth so that they are able to deliver and perform their mandate to the expectation of Kenyans. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, with that, I want to support, and just like everybody else has supported, and wish them well as they take up their role as commissioners of NCIC. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Member for Wajir North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. National Cohesion and Integration Act is a product of the 2008 Act, a statutory instrument. I think with time it is important that it is amended to make it amenable to the 2010 Constitution, if there is the need. Madam Speaker, I want to first congratulate that for the first time Wajir County has the first commissioner of this commission. Inasmuch as the commissioners reflect the face of this country, they come from all the regions. And from the commissioner of Wajir, if I may pair him with the one from Isiolo, we come from a very fragile area, always under clashes, conflict arising from pastures, where peace is tenuous. I think having such kind of 2 commissioners at least from northern Kenya will be able to deal, they should be having the capacity, or the commission should be able to deal with conflicts emanating from pasture, lack of water, boundary issues, though it's not within their mandate, but in liaison with the commission that is mandated to do so. Further, Madam Speaker, this commission has very important role to make sure that they uphold the societal values of this country, to promote, to prevent discrimination, ethnic discrimination, promote national cohesion and harmony, and resolve conflicts as is required. But what has been happening, despite having people with flowery CVs, professors, doctors, people who have had experience in terms whose competence is not questionable, Kenyans have not been getting the results so required from this commission. They have had a knee-jerk reaction. They were reactive, only responding to outcries. You know what is happening between Garissa and Mwingi today. There are no mechanisms to forestall. There are no early warning systems. AI is a very important instrument to use at times. This commission requires to employ modern tools to preempt the likelihood of such things happening. They should not be reactionary. Madam Speaker, they also need to mobilize for resources so that peace building around pasture conflict areas is enhanced. Madam Speaker, I know currently they come under the Ministry of Interior. There is need to make it independent. I know the mover himself has a bill in this House to make this commission a bit independent, to divorce it from Interior, and I congratulate him for that move. Madam Speaker, there is need to give it an enforcement muscle so that they can deal with culprits, perpetrators of hate, those people who are always spoiling the cohesion of this nation. There is need to give them some prosecutorial role. They don't have to be at the mercy of other agencies, because the more they rely on other institutions, this country can burn in seconds, Madam Speaker. There is need to improve this institution, to make it a very strong, formidable, reliable, and result-oriented institution without making it an institution that's always crying for help. What causes most of this cohesion, discrimination, and these conflicts in the country is based on inequity. Kenyans are not enjoying equity or even development across the country. Some areas have been marginalized. There is inequity in employment. All this must be handled holistically if we are to make sure that we are bonded and cohesive and move together as one body, one community, a Kenyan community. Madam Speaker, we also need to enhance or improve on the maturity of our democracy. Politicians are the main source of the problem. Politicians are those who speak careless at every place, funerals, any public rally. If politicians can set the pace and be exemplary, the rest of Kenyans can follow. It is we from this house and outside, those who are aspiring to take our seats properly, who are the source of most of the hate speeches we are trying to discuss. If that can at least be condensed and handled well, I believe we will have a cohesive country. I want also to at least ask these 8 commissioners, now that they have the best of CVs, that they showcase their importance and their results to this country and the institution. With those few remarks, I support the report of the committee.
Last, we have the Honorable Member for Silisia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me a chance also to support this bill. I rise to support the bill, Madam Speaker, because it is so important to this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I remember 2007, very many people died, Madam Speaker, before the new Constitution 2010 came in place. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate the Committee of National Cohesion to come up with this bill that is going to protect Kenyans from being coerced on other things that are not correct. Madam Speaker, the Commission mostly has been commissioned because of maybe most of the politicians we are reckless in a way sometimes, Madam Speaker, either inciting people, communities, and that is how it happened 2007. Madam Speaker, this commission, as we speak, it should be independent. It should be linked from the office of the Minister of Interior. Madam Speaker, from 2010, Constitution, Madam Speaker, allowed that every commission that is appointed should be independent. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this commission should operate independently and should be given its own budget to operate, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it will make some of us politicians, I had my colleague, the Honorable Kaunya, there complaining about land issues, Changara. And I wish Honorable Kaunya was here, Madam Speaker, because we have invited the Minister for Interior to come to the scene or to the division that was cassetted in my constituency, Madam Speaker. And that was the provocation that brought all these problems that we are complaining between me and the Honorable Kaunya, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Changara is in my constituency because when they process, they want to get a title deed. The board is in Sirisia, the land board, and then after there, they go to Bungoma to take a title deed. Madam Speaker, Busia is a county like Bungoma. And most of the time, Madam Speaker, for all these years, the people of Changara have been ignored. It was no man's land, Madam Speaker, because of the dispute that has been there all along. And now, when Mr. Osia, who was working in the office of the president, cassetted this, the Changara to be a division in Busia, that was the provocation of the essence, Madam Speaker. And I want to tell my colleague that Changara is in Sirisia, and the Minister of Interior, Madam Speaker, should move with speed to come and settle this, Madam Speaker, because we don't want to be blamed that, oh, Waluke is inciting people, and I blame that Kaunya is inciting people. Madam Speaker, we don't want our people to fight. We are a community that has held peace for very many years, for a very long time. And our peace should continue. Our people should love each other, remain like that, the way, because we have been married, and we should continue even producing mixed children, Tesos and Luyas, Madam Speaker. So I support this commission. And some of the problems that we are talking here, Madam Speaker, the commission is going to help. And it happened that I know some of the commissioners, the three commissioners, I know them. This is a good commission. The appointment was elected, and it is the face of the country, Madam Speaker, because when you go through the names, you can see that it is the face of Kenya. So, Madam Speaker, I want to support this commission, and I want also to say that the minister should come to Changara as quick as tomorrow to settle the problem that is affecting the two of us, or the two constituencies, that is Changara and Sirisia. I support. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Marakwet West.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise from the onset to support this motion on the approval hearings of nominees for appointment to the position of chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Honourable Speaker, this is a very important commission in this country. And that is why, Honourable Speaker, we have an entire legislation, the National Cohesion and Integration Act of 2008, which was amended in 2012, to provide for issues to do with cohesion and integration in our country. Honourable Speaker, someone said here that we have, at some point, focused on the issue of hate speech as a mandate of this commission. Honourable Speaker, this commission has broad mandate to do with ethnic discrimination, harassment on the basis of ethnicity, discrimination in employment, discrimination in access to distribution of public resources, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, this committee has a wide mandate, and therefore they must be able to execute the mandate as provided for under the NCIC Act. Honorable Speaker, we have qualified individuals that have applied for this position, that the committee has vetted. And Honorable Speaker, the issue is not qualification. The issue is, are they willing to ensure that the enforcement of what is provided for in the law is actually enhanced or actualized? So, Honorable Speaker, this committee must be able to ensure that we have a cohesive nation. Honorable Speaker, we have our countries, our neighboring countries, Somalia. Somalia has literally collapsed as a country. They have tried for the last 40 years to dissociate that nation, but they have a lot of challenges as a country. Honorable Speaker, Rwanda, out of some ethnic hatred, that country, and we thank Rwanda because it has picked up, but that country almost actually collapsed until the current president came in and the current administration and the country has stabilized. So, Honorable Speaker, what I want to call upon this commission, as they assume office, let it be apolitical. Let them not be involved in political activities. Let them act without any fear or victimization or intimidation by anybody, be it at the highest level or be it at any level of government, so that we have a body that can be able to adjudicate matters objectively, a body that can be able to determine matters without any political leaning. Honorable Speaker, many people, we've seen people in this country, in political rallies, in public meetings, make certain utterances that would actually divide this country apart, that would actually bring a lot of, escalate political tensions in the country. Honorable Speaker, therefore, they must know that they have been established pursuant to a legislation to protect individuals, to protect communities, to protect the sovereignty of our country, and to protect the future of the country as we know it, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, even as we approve this particular committee, and I support 100% for the approval of the nominees, but they must be apolitical and ensure that they perform their functions as provided for by the Constitution and the establishing legislation. Honorable Speaker, finally, I agree with those who have submitted 100% in this House that they must be given autonomy. They must have what you call decisional independence. Honorable Speaker, they are currently housed, actually, under the Ministry of Interior. The reading of the Constitution, the spirit, the letter, and the intent of a Constitution provides that, or envisages that constitutional commissions must be independent. So, Honorable Speaker, this commission, for it to have teeth, so that it doesn't become a toothless bulldog, let it be given financial independence. Let them act independent. Let that commission be independent. This House must allocate funds specifically to that commission and not through the Ministry of Interior, so that they can act independently and without any element of discrimination either way. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the letter, the spirit, and the intent of this particular motion. And, Honorable Speaker, let us approve this commission and let them act and comply with the Constitution and all other enabling legislations. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Catherine Omayo, member for Busia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to support this commission must start working. In fact, I want them to start with Busia County. Recently, we witnessed something that caused our people to wonder if we belong to Bungoma County or belong to Busia County. Since when I was born, Changara Division has always belonged to Busia County. You find Changara in Teso North, but my colleague, Honorable Waluke, has been causing confusion by encroaching into our land and purporting that Changara division, the people who have settled there, have no MP or have no leader. He wants to be their leader, which has brought a lot of conflict between our Teso North settlers versus, is it Sirisia constituency that is in Bungoma. Actually, the two places are like neighboring each other, Busia County versus Bungoma County, but on that particular boundary, Changara. So we want IEBC to come in first and start by settling our people. But I know Changara belongs to Busia constituency. He has been coming in just to get voters from Busia side to go and add his numbers on the other side. So we do not want to fight. We want harmony, we want peace. We love each other, we have intermarried. We have Bukusus versus Tesos who have married each other. You can't even tell who is who. But the boundaries must be clear when it comes to that. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Wilford Owundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Committee on Equal Opportunities, National Development Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity for its thorough job in vetting the nominees for the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. And these nominees are Dr. Kefa Nyamwea Omae as chairperson, MS Josephine Kirior Eragae, Joseph K. Nguyo, Jackson Swadi Kedogo, Dr. Samuel Mwachiro Mawasi, Irene Chepoisho Tulel, Hassan Bilo Ahmed, and Jerusha Mwatime Michael. Honorable Speaker, for just historical context, this National Commission, National Cohesion and Integration Commission, arose out of the mayhem of the 2007-2008 election violence. Both the Kriegler Commission report, which was called Independent Review Commission report, Waki Commission report, in their various reports, plus other civil societies, like the one that produced and the title Precipice to Disaster, they all pointed towards ethnic mobilization for political expedience as the cause of the mayhem. So out of the wisdom of the very many recommendations of those commissions, it became important that we must have a commission that for all it takes, even if it just becomes a scarecrow, as it has always been all since it was formed, at least it can put checks and balances on our loose mouth, so to speak, on outrageous and insensitive statements that we make in political rallies that incite animosity, hatred, disrespect, and disrepute to the various political players. So, Honorable Speaker, then secondly, obviously, when the bill was drafted, it gave the commission under Section 25 of the National Commission and Integration Act, number 12/2008, a wide range of mandate and functions. You ask any typical Kenyan, that they will tell you all the past commissions have only concentrated or narrowed down on a very minor aspect of their mandate, that is hate speech. Many politicians of various cadre, various scale, various persuasion have at one time or another received letters from the commission to what I can say, merely scaring them, because up to date, and I could be wrong, probably we need to search, I do not know any person, any politician who has been tried, convicted, jailed, or fined, or barred from holding public office as a result of any transgression committed under the provisions of this act. I therefore, as I stand here today, call upon the commission, this new commission, under the chair, Dr. Kefa Nyamwea Omae, do not just be seat warmers in your term in the office, but we want to see you, we want to feel you, We want you to scare sufficiently enough to avoid us from making hate speeches and discriminatory statements that literally can cause this country to implode. As we have always said, we have no other country. The only country we have is Kenya. When Kenya implodes, when Kenya bans, as it did in 2007, 2008, Honorable Speaker, all of us will suffer. What many of us saw in 2007 and 2008 is something that we never wish to live again. We just want, as I stand here, to implore upon the Commission. Your work is cut out. We are going to a very contentious elections in 2027, akin to the contentious election of 2007, 2008, where principal actors in the immediate past elections have had a very acrimonious fallout, and each has vowed to teach each other a lasting lesson. So the stakes are so high, and all that we are going to see very heated exchanges, very, very tough words that might actually, if you are faint-hearted, it might cause a lot of distress and incite animosity. Honorable Speaker, actually, the stage is being set. The goons that are now becoming part and parcel of a political discourse, political operations, are setting stage for mayhem. I therefore call upon the Commission. Honorable Speaker, we are starting to use some very hateful words, calling others waganga, mtu wa vitendawili, watu wa kung'oa reli. Honorable Speaker, to me, where I stand, those are hate speech, even if you look at the definition in this particular bill, this particular act. Honorable Speaker, ethnic profiling, say Luyas can never unite. As long as they have eaten, they have no other ambition beyond that point. We, the Luyas, feel that is hate speech, discriminatory, and it should be a matter that falls within the purview of this particular act. Honorable Speaker, saying, because one is not circumcised, can never lead this country. Honorable Speaker, that amounts to hate speech. Unfortunately, I never saw any leader in this country being prosecuted and barred from holding office as provided for in this act, this act. Honorable Speaker, I therefore call upon. Honorable Speaker, one of the issues, of course, that keeps on occurring, and it's normally a hot potato, is the issue of discrimination in employment. Honorable Speaker, a few years ago, I think 1.5 years ago, the country was employing, KRA was employing some junior staff to do some typical work. Honorable Speaker, contrary to the provisions of Section 7 of the Act, it was reported, and up to now, nobody has ever refuted that assertion, that close to 80% came from one ethnic community, yet the law is explicitly clear. No public establishment shall have more than 1/3 of its staff from the same ethnic community. Honorable Speaker, some of us feel very uncomfortable. You walk into a boardroom, you walk into an office, and they can hold a meeting, a national function meeting in one ethnic language to the exclusion of others without shame. Honorable Speaker, if we want to have a cohesive society, we as individual members of society must walk the path. As I always joke, if you want to contribute to national cohesion, if you come from Coast, look for a wife or a husband from Western. If you come from Nyanza, look for a wife, a yellow from Kiambu, and that they have excelled very well. So that in that manner, our children will not know whether there is a Luya, is a Pokot, is a Turkana, they will feel being Kenyan. But if you say you live in your village, you marry somebody from your village, how will you become a Kenyan? so that you feel part and parcel of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to plead my colleagues in political space. There are some statements that we are starting to make, whether in the privilege of the floor of this House or outside where when we are given a microphone, be it in a funeral, be it wherever it is, that are a binger for chaos. Please, let's check our words. This thing we are talking about zoning. Honorable Speaker, if you read the Kriegler report plus the Waki report, they are very clear. These trumpets of zoning were the same part and parcel that brought this mayhem in 2007, 2008. Let us avoid this talk of zoning. If you are a capable politician, you must be able to face your adversaries head on. This issue of zoning is a defeatist. You are already admitting you have failed, you are unable to galvanize your stronghold to vote for your candidates. With those very few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the appointment and wish them well.
Okay, the last person, Honorable Moishako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to support the nominees for appointment to the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in saying that I think this debate is coming at the right time. Honorable Speaker, we are under 15 months to the next election. And many times, Honorable Speaker, NCIC has existed, and it came about from the conflicts we had in 2007, 2008, post-election violence. So when Kenyans gave ourselves this commission, we knew for sure we wanted a commission that will not only be, taking stock on what is not going right when it comes to our ethnic diversity and hate speech and all that, but we wanted to have a watchman, a commission that will, understand and bring out things even before they happen, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm reminded by one gentleman, Martin Luther King, in the US one time said, we either choose to live together as brothers or we perish together as fools. Honorable Speaker, we have over 40 different ethnic groups in this country. Each ethnic group, Honorable Speaker, has its strength. And in their strength, we build a country, we build a nation. The nation Kenya, Honorable Speaker, cannot be as strong if one ethnic community is left behind, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, every time we talk about our ethnic diversity, we should not always think of the negative side of the ethnicity. We should also try to really push through the positive side of ethnicity, Honorable Speaker. But having said that, Honorable Speaker, NCIC is an important commission in this country. But we know, for the last many years it's been in existence, Honorable Speaker, it has not performed its duties well, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, one of the key mandates of this commission, Honorable Speaker, is to promote inclusion and bring in equity when it comes to appointments, when it comes to hiring, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we know CIC has been publishing documents. And I want to say here, Honorable Speaker, it's not their work to just publish documents, and they gather dust in their shelves. No one takes them serious, Honorable Speaker. Today, we are passing these nominees, Honorable Speaker. I want to say they must wake up and do their work. They must implement their reports, Honorable Speaker. Recently, Honorable Speaker, we saw, when KRA was hiring, NCIC came up and said, two communities took over 70, 80% of the jobs. And, the rest of the country remained with less than 20%. But giving us that report, Honorable Speaker, does not help anyone. If they don't enforce and they don't call the leadership, the management of those parastatals to order, it doesn't help us, Honorable Speaker. We know NCIC has given us very good reports saying some universities in this country, Honorable Speaker, employ almost 90% of the people around where the university is, and yet these are parastatals, Honorable Speaker. If they do good reports with no implementation, with no, with nothing after that, then, Honorable Speaker, we are using public resources to fund an NCIC, but it will not get us anywhere, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Gen Z of this country have demonstrated that we can run this country without thinking of where we come from, our tribes, Honorable Speaker. When Gen Zs were demonstrating in 2024, Honorable Speaker, and they're calling us to order as Parliament, as the National Executive, they transcended the boundaries of ethnicity, Honorable Speaker. And by the fact that Gen Zs would raise to that level, Honorable Speaker, we as leaders of this country must also realize that our time is almost gone, Honorable Speaker. Because if we don't shape up, if we don't realize that ethnicity is, it will end with us, then we are wasting our time even as we sit here, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to call the Gen Zs of this country, even as we get to the next election, let them realize that, let them not elect anyone, whether it is the highest office of the land as president or even us as members of parliament, by the fact that that person comes from the ethnic group, Honorable Speaker. Gen Zs must demonstrate, and this country we have good numbers. 2 million of them have just registered, just concluded IEBC registration, Honorable Speaker. We are saying if Gen Zs can raise their numbers and the youth of this country can raise their numbers to over 10 million, Honorable Speaker, they can take us, all of us, home, Honorable Speaker, if we continue practicing, trying to use ethnicity to get us to offices, trying to use ethnicity or our tribe to get us, to get us jobs. Because, Honorable Speaker, I'll tell you, Honorable Speaker, it is sad that sometimes we talk about ethnicity. There are communities in this country because none of their, of their people sit in big offices of the executive, Honorable Speaker. They don't get the chances to even work in those offices, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, this must come to an end. And then I say NCIC must raise up to their billing. It is unfortunate that we can have a country. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say this. Recently, when there was recruitment at Kenya prisons, we know majority of the people who are employed who are given letters came from a specific area of this country, Honorable Speaker. It is very sad. Young people, even when it comes to forces, they're taken to fields, they run around. You see, in a whole sub-county, they take 3 or 5 or 6 people. But it is one sub-county, Honorable Speaker, that will employ over 100 people in one sub-county, Honorable Speaker. Just because one of their kins, one of their tribesmen sits in a certain office in the executive, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as CIC gets to do this, they must know that the money that they use to run activities is public money, is money that is appropriated by this parliament, and therefore it's taxpayers' money. They must work. They must be beyond reproach. If it is hate speech, Honorable Speaker, the same they'll call a hate speech in Mombasa, it should be the same way they'll call a hate speech in Nairobi. If someone is perpetrating a hate speech, Honorable Speaker, it doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter the position they hold in government. I have seen, Honorable Speaker, that some cases, outrightly, you realize it's hate speech. But some people are handled with gloves, but others, it's unfortunate. So as I see, for me, as I support these commissioners, I must say that they must rise up to the occasion. We must bring this country together. We must unify this country. And I want to believe one day, Honorable Speaker, me as Danson Mwashako, I'll be elected the president of this country, not because I come from Taita Taveta, not because I come from a tribe that has very few people, Honorable Speaker, but because of the character and content that deserves me to lead this country, Honorable Speaker. This idea of, president must come from, I don't know which community, large communities, small communities, this thing must come to an end, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as Parliament, NCIC must also call us to order. Where there is hate speech by members of parliament, they also need to raise and say this is wrong. But they should not look at members of parliament from where the side of the house they sit. If I sit in this other house and even if it comes from someone who is a leader in the government side, it has to be called hate speech. Is hate speech. It should not be. They should not be discriminated, Honorable Speaker. I want to say thank you. I support.
Thank you, honorable members. We'll close that debate now. I think we'll put the question at a later date. So now let's go to the next order. Oh, sorry, the mover hasn't replied. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank my colleagues for overwhelmingly speaking in support of the report of the committee, and therefore, in essence, supporting the appointment of the chairperson and the commissioners of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Honorable Speaker, a few things have stood out. Number one is that the face of the country, the face of Kenya, has been represented across the board in the nominations. And therefore, no region of this country can feel that they do not, their interests are not taken care of. Secondly, we have brought on board diverse experiences, diverse skills, and very relevant experience and competencies into the mix that is comprising this commission. All the nominees, without exception, Honorable Speaker, have followed the debate and the contributions on this House as we sought to have their nominations cleared. They have heard loud and clear that without exception, every member of parliament who has contributed has said they cannot afford to fail Kenyans. Every member of parliament who has spoken has said that their job is cut out for them. Every member of parliament who has spoken has said that the expectations are very high. Honorable Speaker, the issues that confronted this country during the post-election violence in 2007-2008 have been revisited by several speakers. The nominees must know that every Kenyan is looking upon them to ensure that our country does not head in that direction. Unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, the drums of war have already started being beaten. The words of incitement, of balkanization, this zone against that zone. This zone is our zone. These blocks of numbers of voters are in my hands. I am the one who is going to deliver. Kingpins and kingmakers, that language is not good for our country as we head to the next elections. And therefore, this commission, with the overwhelming support of this House, must realize that they come into office with a lot of goodwill from this House. They must not disabuse that goodwill. They must assume office with confidence, but also realize that their competencies give them the necessary tools to diffuse the tensions that are building up in this country. They must redefine and prohibit the use of abusive language. They must diffuse the use of certain terms in certain tribal dialects or native languages that are inciting people to hate certain leaders on account of this and that action. This country is bigger than any of us, to rephrase the words of the late Honorable Professor George Saitoti. And I hope that this commission, once sworn in, will ensure that those words, those proverbial words, really become alive and they are practiced by every responsible Kenyan. And the irresponsible ones must be removed. They must be removed, Honorable Speaker, from our midst, irrespective of the positions they occupy now or the positions they occupied in the past. Honorable Speaker, the time for this commission to issue summons and people decide that they can either appear or not appear on account of the positions they occupy now or they occupied in the past must come to an end. Last one, Honorable Speaker, is my appeal to this House that the NCIC Act 2008 was born out of the recommendations of the Klinger Commission and our experiences 2007, 2008. Since then, we have enacted the new constitution. The bill before this House is supposed to align the functions of this commission to the new constitution. It is also supposed to strengthen the capacities of this commission based on the lessons learned. And I therefore want to make a very, very passionate appeal that we kindly prioritize and fast track the enactment of the NCIC Act 2026 so that this new team comes into office with all the tools necessary to shepherd this country into the direction that we desire. Honorable Speaker, I reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity in its report on the approval hearing of the nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 29th April 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 250, Sub-Article 2B of the Constitution, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Chapter 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as chairperson and members of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Number 1, Dr. Kefa Nyamwea Omai, chairperson. Number 2, Ms. Josephine Kirion Eragai, member. Number 3, Joseph K. Nguyo, member. Number 4, Mr. Jackson Swadi Kedogo, member. Number 5, Dr. Samuel Mwachiro Mwawazi, member. Number 6, Ms. Irene Chepoisho Tulel, HSC, member. Number 7, Mr. Hassan Bilo Ahmed, member. And number 8, Ms. Jerusa Mwadime Michael, member. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, motion, approval of the mediated version of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023.
Do you have the mover? Yes, as this one is moved, it is notified to all members engaged in business without of the plenary of the House that the matters appearing under order number 13, order number 14, order number 15, order number 16, and order number 17 will no doubt be reached. So let them be available, because today we are adjourning business at 9 p.m. So let all the movers in respect of those motions be available so that the House can transact these businesses. Proceed, mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the report on the proceedings of the Mediation Committee on the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023, a bill for an act of Parliament to establish the National Disaster Risk Management Authority and County Disaster Risk Management Committees to provide a legal framework for the coordination of disaster risk management activities. Now, Honorable Speaker, the Mediation Committee on the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023, commenced its sittings on Tuesday, 31st March, 2026. Pursuant to Article 1134 of the Constitution, the committee is required to agree on a version of the bill and table a report within 30 days from its first sitting. Now, Honorable Speaker, the National Disaster Risk Management Bill was published on 31st May 2023 and read a first time on 9th August 2023. The bill was considered by the National Assembly and passed with amendments on 20th June 2024. Thereafter, the bill was referred to the Senate for consideration in accordance with Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Order 144 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. Now, the bill underwent first reading in the Senate on Wednesday, 3rd July 2024. Subsequently, the bill was committed to the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations for consideration in accordance with Standing Order 145 of the Senate Standing Orders. The Senate considered and passed the bill with amendments. The Speaker of the Senate conferred the decision of the Senate on the passage of the bill to the National Assembly on 15 April 2025, pursuant to the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Order 46(2) of the Senate Standing Orders. The National Assembly considered and rejected the amendments from the Senate on 24th July 2025. Consequently, the bill was referred to a mediation committee pursuant to Article 112 of the Constitution. The Speaker of the National Assembly appointed members to the mediation committee on 19 August 2025, pursuant to Standing Order 149(2) of the National Assembly Standing Orders. The Speaker of the Senate appointed senators to the mediation committee on 3rd November 2025, pursuant to Standing Order 166(2) of the Senate Standing Orders. Now, Honorable Speaker, the mediation committee held a total of 6 sittings. The first sitting was held on Tuesday, 31st March 2026. The mediation committee held its last sittings on Saturday, 25th April 2026. The mediation committee considered and agreed on a version of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023, in accordance with Article 113(2) of the Constitution. Now, Honorable Speaker, the mediation committee observations. Now, Honorable Speaker, the mediation committee considered the bill and observed as follows: that the committee adopted the proposed amendments to Clause 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 28, and 32 of the bill. Clause 6, the committee observation, this amendment proposed to delete the provision providing for the establishment of offices by the authority, and instead recommended that the authority collaborates with county governments. Now, the committee resolution was, the mediation committee resolved not to adopt the proposed amendment. In Clause 7, Honorable Speaker, the committee observation was that the amendment proposed to insert new paragraph MA, MB, and MC, assigning additional functions to the authority relating to climate change coordination of damage assessment and conduct of biannual disaster preparedness drills. The committee resolution was that the committee resolved to adopt the amendments with the modification that national disaster drills shall be conducted annually under paragraph MC. So the committee agreed with the following wording of the provision which was modified: that MC now is carry out annual national drill exercises as part of disaster management preparedness. Clause 27, Honorable Speaker, the committee observation was that the amendment sought to provide that development and maintenance of an electronic database on disasters be done in consultation with county governments. The resolution of the committee, Honorable Speaker, was that the committee resolved to adopt their amendments with the modification that development of the electronic database be done in consultation with county governments, and the maintenance of that database be done by the authority. The committee agreed with the following wording of the provisions which was modified. For clause 27, that the clause 27 of the bill be amended in the introductory phrase by deleting the word "and maintain," and maintain appearing immediately after the words "shall develop," and substitute therefore with the words "and in consultation with county governments." Now, B, introducing a new subclause 1A immediately after subclause 1 as follows. The authority shall be responsible for the maintenance of the database developed under subsection 1. Now, Honorable Speaker, clause 29, the committee observation is that the amendment sought to require that the Cabinet Secretary consult the Council of County Governors before making regulations on the classification of disasters. The resolution of the mediation committee was the committee resolved not to adopt the proposed amendment on the ground that it is adequately covered under clause 52 of the bill. Clause 52, Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that the amendment proposed to delete and rename the heading of part 7 of the bill from provisions on delegated powers to miscellaneous provisions. Now, the resolution of the mediation committee was the committee resolved not to adopt the proposed amendment. New clauses 41A, 41B, 41C, and 41D. The mediation committee made the following observation, that the amendment sought to introduce new clause 41A, 41B, 41C, and 41D to provide for the establishment of a disaster risk management fund, define its sources of funding and objectives, and consolidate all existing disaster risk management funds into a single fund. The mediation committee, Honorable Chair, made the following resolution, that the committee resolved not to adopt the proposal to insert new clause 41B, 41C, and 41D. The committee further resolved to adopt the proposal for new clause 41A with modification to the extent that there was need to provide powers to establish a disaster risk management fund in accordance with section 24(4) of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A. The committee agreed with the following wording of the provisions, which was modified. 41A therefore will read, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance may establish a disaster risk management fund in accordance with section 24(4) of the Public Finance Management Act. New clause 41E, Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that the amendment sought to provide the Cabinet Secretary for Finance may exempt through regulation any materials, articles, goods, or equipment intended for disaster management activities from import duty, value-added tax, demurrage, charges, port charges, and any other applicable taxes. Now, the committee resolution was, the committee resolved to adopt the amendment. New clause 52A, the committee observed that the amendment sought to amend the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, by defining the terms emergency and disaster to make it mandatory for county governments to establish county emergency funds and to set out the conditions under which counties may access and exceed their emergency fund allocations. Now, the mediation committee resolution was on this proposal, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, was that the committee resolved not to adopt paragraph A and C of the amendment that proposes to define the terms emergency and disaster, and to set out the conditions under which counties may access and exceed their emergency fund allocations. The committee further resolved to adopt paragraph B of the amendment to make it mandatory for county governments to establish county emergency funds. Honorable Speaker, the recommendation of the mediation committee, therefore, is that the mediation committee, having considered the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023, recommends that this House adopts the report and approves the agreed version of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023. I beg to move and request the Honorable Catherine Omanyo to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Catherine Omanyo, who is also the Secretary General of the ODM Party, to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to second the motion on the mediated version of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023, as moved by the chairperson of the Mediation Committee, which was constituted pursuant to Standing Order 149-2 of the National Assembly Standing Orders on Tuesday, 19th August 2025, and the Speaker of the Senate pursuant to Standing Order 166-2 of the Senate Standing Orders on Monday, 3rd November 2025. Honorable Speaker, the passage of the version of the bill developed by the Mediation Committee is in accordance with Article 113, 2, and 3 and 4 of the Constitution and Standing Order 149-1 of the National Assembly Standing Orders and Standing Order 166-1. Honorable Speaker, the Disaster Risk Management Bill 2023, number 24 of 2023, if enacted, will significantly enhance coordination and institutional effectiveness in disaster management. Scheme of service for disaster management personnel had been submitted to the Public Service Commission to professionalize and strengthen human resource capacity in the sector. If enacted, regional disaster management centers across the 8 regions to decentralize services and bring response mechanisms closer to the wananchi will be established. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Catherine Omanyo. Honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, and Standing Order number 150, subsection 3, this House adopts the report of the mediated version of the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2023,